If you have Medicare Part D, Walgreens can put you at the corner of switching your prescriptions and saving some money. That's because Walgreens makes it easy to switch and save with copays as low as $0 on select Medicare Part D plans. Just bring us your prescriptions and we'll do the rest. Switch to save even more today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Applies to Tier 1 generics for select plans.
We are all about women getting real. Total women's wellness. Delayna, get it right. You are a strong, independent woman in society today. You can't afford to forget about doing what you do. You need to get your mind, your spirit, and your body right. Because we are the superheroes of today. Changing the world. Getting real with Delayna. We are all about women getting real. Total women's wellness. Strong, independent woman in today's society. Getting real with Delayna. Getting real with Delayna. Getting it right. You are a strong, independent woman in today's world. There are some things that you need to get right in yourself. You need to get your mind and your body and your spirit all right. Because you know what? We are everyday heroes. We are everyday superwomen. Getting real with Delayna.
Hello, and welcome to the Total Woman Wellness Show. I am your host, Delayna K. Watkins, and you are tuned in to our show today live. Whether you are on the East Coast or the West Coast, depending, our guest today is calling us from the Pacific time. So we're going to have a wonderful time. It's morning there, it's afternoon here. And today we are going to be joined by Audrey Godwin, and she's going to give us some fiscal fitness today or about our finances. So I can't wait to introduce her and have her on the show. It's going to be amazing. But before I do, I want to, of course, share all of these amazing things that we have going on here at Total Woman Wellness. First, of course, the time is counting down and getting closer to the Stiletto WBO, and that's Women Business Owners DC event. Ladies and gentlemen, but of course my ladies, because it is our Stiletto Women Business Owners event, I am just getting more excited as the time is drawing nearer. The visionary behind this tour, Kim Harris, and she is coming from the Dallas area, and the tour last stopped in Chicago with Donna Smith-Bellinger, and we're all just drumming up so much excitement behind the scenes, and I want you all to get excited about this event as well. So, again, please visit StilettoWBODC.eventbrite.com to find out more information about the event. And, of course, I know you want to join me, so special code, which is my name, Delayna, and you will receive a discount, and you can purchase your ticket and join me. If that date of April 10th does not work out for you and you want to support a young girl or young woman in business, you can also contribute to the campaign because we're trying to support young girls and women in business, and we want them in the room as well. It's all about that legacy building. So make sure you check out the Stiletto WBO Women Business Owners Symposium event for April the 10th. Then we have the Winter Summit with Miss Deborah Hardnett. She is the visionary behind that, and she is out of Virginia, and she's the owner of Wealthy Sisters. She's really Wealthy Sisters Media Group. They have a radio show, and they also have a media platform that they use to share all of the information about women business owners as well. So that is another event that I have the pleasure of participating in, and you can find out more information about the Winter Summit, and that will take place March 27th and 28th. It is a two-day event in the Virginia area, and the website for that is thewinnersummit.com, thewinnersummit.com. And then lastly, I want you all to follow us on Spreaker at MWHY Radio. I shared about that last week. I was so excited. So I really want you guys to go on to Spreaker if you don't have one. It's another excellent way that if you miss any of the shows that air on our network on May We Help You Radio, that you can very easily go and download the broadcast from there, as well as the app, the May We Help You Radio app. So we're coming to you in so many different platforms, and the network is really growing and expanding, and we want you all to make sure that you're keeping up with our broadcast. And as a result, I have something exciting to share with you. There's going to be a crossover for the month of March, but it will begin today as we go into Women's History Month. So when we talk about crossing over on our network, Joan Henry and I have a contest that will start today, and it's called Name That Shero. And what we're going to do is we each will share one clue for 2 weeks. And then on March the 14th, the answer will be revealed on Joan Henry's show. But you have to listen to both my show as well as Joan Henry's show, which airs on Saturday at 2 p.m. And this will give you the clues that you need to come up with the right answer. Now, what do you do when you have the right answer? Well, you call into Joan's show on March the 14th, and what you will win is a 2 to 3 minute spotlight for you and your business on both my show, the Total Woman Wellness Show, and on Joan Henry's radio show. You will also be showcased as a shero or hero on the network and receive more additional spotlighting from the May We Help You Radio broadcasting network. So just by simply listening to my show as we go into Women's History Month, and then again Joan Henry's show on Saturday at 2 p.m. So how cool is that? That is a crossover on both radio shows on this network, again, in support of Women's History Month. So now we're at the last Wednesday in February for Heart Health Month. So I'll be sharing some heart health tips throughout today's radio segment as I start sharing the clues for, taking us into Women's History Month. So that's all the good stuff that I have to share with you before we delve into today's show. We always have so much to look forward to, and we jam-pack so much into this hour that I really don't like to waste a minute of it. So as I told you, we have a lovely guest who's going to be joining us today out of Washington. She's coming to us from Washington State, and it is Audrey Godwin. She is known as the go-to award-winning expert for equipping mission-driven business leaders and entrepreneurs with the insights, strategies, and tools to run a financially healthy and vibrant company. I love it. And here's the next part about what she does that I love. She has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs and business leaders think beyond the tax return and achieve financial results that reflect their vision and values and create sustainable cash flow to fund their lifestyle, their lifetime, and their legacy. I absolutely love that. She is an engaging trainer who simplifies complex material and makes it highly user-friendly with down-to-earth tips, tools, and techniques. That's why we have her as a guest on the Total Woman Wellness Show. Ladies, because we like to break it down. We want it simplified. We want it chewed up. We want it pureed. We want to make this thing easy so that we can figure out how what it is that she's going to share with us can translate into things that we can implement today. So without further delay, I want to bring Miss Audrey Godwin on to the Total Woman Wellness Show so she can share some of that goodness with us, because we are right in the midst of tax season. So we got to think differently about that thing. Hello and good morning and good afternoon to you, Audrey.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. It's going to be a pleasure to spend time with you today. I can tell already.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah. I want you to start right off the bat and just tell the listeners a little bit about you. I always edify people with their bio, but tell us a little bit about you and then go right into how you became passionate about helping business owners with creating residual income? More money in our pockets and pocketbooks.
Oh, well, so I have a real different background in that I kind of came to becoming a financial coach through the way of being a CPA for over 20 years, and then decided that what I really wanted to do, and when I was a CPA, when I worked for other firms, they were very, I audited, I actually worked for privately held companies as a controller and CFO. So I got to sit on both sides of the desk as a consultant, as an outside CPA, and then as the internal financial officer for companies to really understand how entrepreneurs and business leaders really think when it comes to the financial area. And one thing that I learned that I'm really good at is being sort of the bad cop, right? Because I love working with entrepreneurs and business leaders because they're always thinking at the 50,000-foot level. They have, a million ideas, 50,000 directions to go. And my job is really to ground them for a short period of time and get them to the place where I can say, this is what you need to do, and this is what you committed to for the next 30, 60, 90 days, next, 18 months, depending on what the bigger vision is. And really, when I was working for other CPA firms, we focused so much on, the tax return, which is great because we want to minimize our tax liability. But what I was noticing was this pattern of behavior that we get so focused on keeping our, books up to date and getting our receipts together just to have a bigger refund or pay less taxes, as opposed to how do we just manage this bill, whether it's, the tax bill or the refund, like we do everything else in our financial arsenal. And a lot of business owners and business leaders weren't doing that. And so when I launched my company about 11 years ago, I decided that what I wanted to provide was that CFO, the Chief Financial Officer services, to everybody from a freelancer, so the one-person solo entrepreneur, to those entrepreneurs and business leaders that have companies that are supporting 20, 30 employees, because they need that level of financial strategy and that business partner internally, so that they can really think about how they're going to grow their business, as an owner, how are you going to get compensated so that you may not necessarily be the highest paid employee, but if you're in business 10, 15, 20 years, you should be the highest paid employee or in that top tier because you've invested so much in your business. And so what I like to do is really sit down and really look at, how are we going to manage taxes in light of everything else that you say you want to do for your life and for your household and for your business, so that there's some balance there, and making sure that we have the proper amount of cash flow to pay the tax bill. So, that is me in a nutshell. And so, just a very different perspective on, how do we handle finances in the business setting without necessarily making sure that the lens that we're looking through is not just IRS guided.
Right. And, just listening to what you were saying, it is different when you are working, let's say, for instance, especially a lot of people who are trying to transition out of being an employee, working in the corporate arena, to understanding what that finance is and what setting your business up and how to invest in it translates to as an entrepreneur. And that's very different, because oftentimes as an employee, you're not really sitting down and having conversations with the CFO of the company, or you're not really involved in that day-to-day, intricacies or that information, unless that is part of your job. So I think oftentimes to make the transition, usually what we're thinking about, or I know even for me, the only thing I've focused on was, okay, how much money do I need? And then how much do I need to earn to still support my lifestyle? What does that translate into? Because in the corporate setting, I already knew what I would be making every 2 weeks, so I never really gave too, thought to it. It was just, okay, make sure it's direct deposited, and this is what I need to do. So it, your thought process sort of shifts beyond that, and then, like you said, making certain that the proper amount of taxes is being taken out, so that I, either break even or that I don't owe, and possibly, even maybe receive a refund back, at the end of the year. So that mindset has to shift a little bit, or should I say maybe a lot at some point, when you become an entrepreneur or a business owner, and now you're, becoming the one who's going to be giving the 1099s or the W-2s or what have you to your employees or even to yourself as the business owner. So what does that translate to, since we're right in the midst of tax season? What are some things that both our employees who are looking to become full-time entrepreneurs, or, sort of maybe, kind of delve into both, still be employed, as well as, start their part-time business. I don't want to say on the side, because I really believe that when you say on the side, you lessen its importance. But what would you think can say right now, as we're in the midst of tax season, that people can do? And I'm only using tax season as a leverage because we're all thinking tax and numbers right now.
Oh, absolutely. No, well, So I'm going to back up a little bit, because one of the things you said was, when people are making that transition from, employee to entrepreneur, what I'm going to challenge everybody who's listening who is an employee is you should be thinking this way even when you're working for someone else, because really we should be running our households like we do a business, because really our households should be profitable. We should have positive cash flow. So these are really skills that we can apply to our household and skills that we can apply to business. So because really, if we think about it, yes, when you're an employee, yes, when your check is coming, but we tend to not look at opportunities to increase our income, meaning what do I need to do skill-wise or education-wise to get to the next place of development in my career? Because that will also dictate how much, what your pay increase will be. And then what are you going to do with that pay increase? So really, when we're talking about really getting control of your finances, the first thing you're going to do, what are you spending your money on? And if you don't know, outside of, well, I'm paying rent or paying my mortgage, if you don't even know what deductions are being taken out of your paycheck, you should look at that. Because I've actually dealt with people over the years that don't even know how much in income taxes or Social Security and Medicare taxes are being taken out of their check. They just figure it's direct deposit, I don't see it, and if I put, $50 in savings, that goes directly, and as long as I don't see it, then it's all good. The problem is that when we have that kind of mindset, we really abdicate responsibility for how our finances are being managed. So if we put everything on automatic draft and direct deposit, and everything gets split between the 401k and savings, but we don't ever look to make sure that things are performing or that I'm spending the way I intended to, then we're really like the ostrich with our head in the sand. So really, what I would encourage people to do is, if you are kind of, especially if in the midst of tax season, what we're doing right now is gathering all of our documents. So that we can either prepare our taxes ourselves or get to a tax preparer. This is a great time to sit down and look at what you've done with what you've earned. And that goes for employees as well as entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs, right now, they're trying to get their bookkeepers, if they have a bookkeeper, trying to get their books up to date. And for entrepreneurs, I'm just going to say, right now, get your books up to date for 2014. We're already a month, almost to the end of February, almost 2 months into the new year. Get your books up to date and make sure they're maintained up to date so that you know exactly how much you're earning in revenue, how much you're spending, how much you're incurring in costs every month, and how much you have left over in cash flow, because you have to make some business decisions that are going to impact the finances of your company, the health of your company. If you're an employee, take a look at what you have spent. If you're not using Quicken or you're not using anything really to track your spending, what I would say, whether you're single or in a committed relationship, sit down with yourself and or other, the other adults in your household that are responsible for earning and incurring, spending the cash that comes in, to sit down and, even if you do a quick and dirty, what do we spend our money on in a month, to really look at where you're spending money. I think that's the first thing that we need to do. And then because we're so early in 2015, this is a great time to sit down and go, well, if we're getting a refund for our taxes, what are we really going to use that at? How much of that are we going to save? Because here's what I know from my experience doing taxes and advising people for over 20 years is that if they get a refund, that refund is spent before it's even hit the bank.
Yes.
Which means that we're paying off debt, or we've got that vacation, so we've already spent it, and we really haven't given much thought into the overall scheme of things of should I have really paid down that debt, or should I really start building my cash reserve? There are statistics that say that we don't save money. So if we have an emergency, a tire blows on the highway, we're probably going to have to drive around with that temporary tire on longer than we're supposed to because we don't have anything in savings to replace that tire. It's those kind of things that we need to look at for that refund. How much, and ask yourself the question, did you plan to save any of that refund? I mean, put in a savings account, not just I'm going to put it over here because I've already decided that's going to my vacation in July. It's have you put that? Are you going to put that into a savings so that you can start building your storehouse? Because really what you need to have, and this is what I advise all my clients, is you want to have the goal of having 8 years' worth of compensation in savings, and you have to start somewhere. So every time you get a bonus or a promotion, part of that needs to go into savings. And, yes, you may have debt, but you can manage and navigate the minimum payments because most people incur debt based on the minimum payment. They have sort of a minimum payment mentality. If I can swing the minimum payment, then I can get this thing. Doesn't make any sense because over the long term, if you don't really have a goal and a vision of where you want to be financially by the end of the year, you're going to end up in a place where all your savings is gone, the refund is gone, you had that great vacation, but you've incurred more debt and you haven't literally increased your net worth
right.
any. Right, and that's really the number we want to focus on is how am I increasing my net worth? Am I increasing my assets? Am I reducing my debt, or am I increasing my income and managing my expenses? Those are the things that we need to look at, and those are the things that I would say that's where we need to start is look at what we're doing now and what do we really want to get accomplished by the end of this year. Forget about 10 years from now, right, because there are too many people right now that are insolvent. Basically, they have more debt than they have assets. And so they really want to pay off their debt. And some of it, some of the debt was incurred for houses that, they're making the rebound, but not necessarily as quickly as they would like to for the fair market value of their home. Or they're just in a place where they got downsized or, things have just changed and they haven't gotten a raise in 3 or 4 years because of what the company is going through. Or even in your business, you've had to really look at getting really clear about what your business does and who it serves because when money was flowing, it didn't matter who your customer was. And now people are really watching how they're spending their money, so it's impacting the cash flow of your business. So these are kind of the decisions we need to make. And just look at this year. What do you want to have in your bank account, right? Because everybody does these vision boards of what they want to do and how they want to be. Let's take that a little further. What dollar amount do you want to have in your savings account by December 31st, 2015? And then back it up and so what is it going to take to get that number there?
Absolutely. And I like that way up, too, because I know that it has helped me. Because what happens is when you're in business, you are usually focused in your business and not really looking down the road because there's certain things that you want to happen right then, right now, to translate into tangible results or tangible, money at that time. Right. So I know that everything that you're saying is absolutely true. Being able to, number one, be very transparent when it comes to looking at your finances, and most definitely sitting down with the members in your household who both have not only a say in the finances and how they're being spent, but also how it may affect them going forward, now that you are, of course, being more, as I would say, holding the purse strings a little closer to you when you're talking about, spending money both in your business as well as on things that outside of the home. Like I noticed when we did that there were a lot of expenses on entertainment. There was a lot that we were doing outside of the home unnecessarily. And yes, we enjoyed it, but it wasn't something that we had focused on that we realized really affected both the income that was coming in and where it was being spent and dispersed to, which ultimately, can affect your savings and or how you're going to invest in your business. So it needed to be done, and being able to sit down with both my husband and my children to say, okay, we're going to do, less of the movies. That's $80 right there between buying tickets, getting food, driving there, you just want to eat after and all of that type of thing. That was like an expense that was, necessary because it was quality family time spent together, but maybe not as often. So it was those type of things that we had to sit down and kind of discuss. And like you said, I do think it's important to do it as a family unit because ultimately it's legacy building, and we brought the children in so they would understand that that's what was occurring. So like you talked about, it's lifestyle, lifetime, and legacy. And that's why I say I love that, because I talk about lifestyle, leadership, and legacy as well. And it's the same exact thing. It's how you lead, what lifestyle are you looking forward to, and what type of legacy are you creating for your family. So I like everything about what you said. And so based on what you talked about just in this first half, Audrey, I'm going to take them into their first commercial break, and it's commercial break instead of a physical commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We typically take a physically fit commercial break, but because we're talking about your finances, your purse strings, your dollar signs, your taxes, we're going to do something that this time on our fiscally fit commercial break, and that is I want you to check your first quarter budget and then forecast for the second quarter, and not just be, kind of out there willy-nilly spending money, trying to figure out, it's sort of that rob Peter to pay Paul concept. I want you to check your first quarter budget. If you have a business plan and you have budgeted for the first, second, and third, fourth quarter of the year, which you should, check your first quarter budget because we're coming up to March, so that's going to be the first fiscal budget technically of the year, and then forecast for your second quarter. So that's something that you can do quickly if you already have a business plan during our first fiscally fit commercial break, and then we will come back here and bring Audrey back on to share some more excellent tips with us and things that you can do right now as a business owner to impact your finances.
This is Caprice Smith, your uncuffed living expert. I want to take a moment and speak to my women entrepreneurs. If you have your own business card and the name of your business, but you struggle when someone asks what it is you do, that is a problem. If you are not making money that's going to build your legacy and sustain your family, that is a problem. I invite you to hop on over to capricesmith.com, join my free newsletter, and while you're there, schedule your strategy session. I want to help you uncover some things that you should already know. I spent 20 years perfecting my craft, and I'm willing to share all of what I know with you today. If you're not living uncuffed, you're just not living. And if you're cuffed in your business, your clients will know that and they won't invest in you. So let's connect. Until next time, have an awesome day.
Incarceration doesn't just affect the one behind bars. It affects everyone. Here's your chance to let others know that being locked up leaves others locked down on the outside, hurting emotionally, economically, and spiritually. We want to know how you feel. Go to www.lovelockdownseries.com and make your creative voice heard. lovelockdownseries.com. We are listening.
The Tanya Free and Friends Talk Show is happy to announce our partnership with the May We Help You Radio Network. You can now catch the rebroadcast of our Wednesday show every Thursday at 6 p.m. That's Tanya Free and Friends, the podcast, every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. We welcome your comments and opinions 24/7 at TanyaFree.com, Facebook and Twitter, or send me a text by texting the word Tanya, that's 72727. Tanya Free and Friends, and May We Help You Radio, living life with a purpose.
Are you frustrated, disappointed, discouraged with your life? Are you angry with God? What's holding you back from fulfilling your purpose? Are you struggling as a leader in ministry? Do you believe you have an end-time calling? If you answered yes to any of these questions, tune in to The Waymakers on MWHY Radio Network every other Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are here to support you. Join us to get the answers that will prepare the way of the Lord in your life.
If you're the parent of a child with behavioral challenges that has been suspended, expelled, or just not able to make it in a traditional school setting, there is an alternative. Call the Metropolitan Day School today. Licensed and accredited grades K through 12. Call 804-321-2595. Financial assistance and after-school programs are available. Let's turn this school year around right now at the Metropolitan Day School, where Eagles soar. Call Ms. Thomas today. 804-321-2595.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Total Woman Wellness Show. If you are just joining us, I am your host, Delayna K. Watkins, and you are tuned in to the Total Woman Wellness Show. If you are dialing in or listening to us online, I want you to just simply press 1 if you have a comment, question, or concern, or you just want to say, you know what, you ladies are sharing some wonderful things that will impact our business, my lifestyle, my leadership, my legacy, anything that you've heard that will allow us to know that we're doing a great job. It's 646-652-2512, and again, press the number 1. It's like raising your hand, and we will know that there's someone there in queue that has a question or a comment. Just before going on to our first Fiscally Fit commercial break, Audrey was sharing with us that there are 3 things that we need to do as business owners, and that is to get your books up to date, track your expenses, and identify where you are spending money. And I will tell you, it is very, very important, and it's personal. It's for you, so be very transparent. Get naked with those finances and really, really dig into where your money is being spent so that you can purposefully invest in your business and see a return on your investment. So those are 3 key things that we talked about just before going to break. And then during the Fiscally Fit commercial break, you were asked to check your first quarter budget to see how you're going and then forecast for the second quarter of the year. You always kind of want to forecast so that you will know, once again, your books being up to date, you know, things that you may have coming up, where to spend and allocate those monies. So we are getting fiscally on the Total Woman Wellness Show with Miss Audrey Godwin. And so I want to share the first clue. And again, if you're just joining us, this clue is in relation to the Shiro contest that we're doing. For the next 2 weeks, I will be sharing a clue, and then the answer will be revealed on Joan Henry's show, which airs on Saturdays at 2 p.m. So the clue for this week for the Shiro is, let's see. And I actually like this because it was so funny as I was getting these clues, trying to see if I could guess who this person is. And again, this is for Women's History Month. So the first clue is Timor native. She's a grandmother who started her path to a healthier lifestyle at the age of 56. That's right, the age of 56. So, you know, when I say, ladies, that it is never too late to start on this healthy journey, this young woman, and I'm going to say young woman because truly she is one to be reckoned with. I think her body is more in shape than mine. She is definitely leading the way and paving the way, and her legacy will be remembered as she is our shero for Women's History Month. So your first clue is that she is a Baltimore native grandmother who started her path to a healthier lifestyle at the age of 56. Okay, so that's the first clue. And then you have to tune in on Saturday to Joan Henry's radio show at 2 p.m. to get another clue. All right. So without further delay, I'm going to bring our lovely guest back on to the Total Woman Wellness Show, Miss Audrey Godwin of the Godwin Group, and she's going to be sharing more goodness with us. Hey there, Miss Audrey.
Hey there. So where would you like to start? Because, boy, we had a lot of fun in the first segment.
We did.
You know, I'm really so glad that you recapped those three things so far that you know we want people to be doing. I want to step back just a little bit and kind of talk about why this is so important. You know, and the three steps that you put together is sort of for those people. It's sort of the traditional route, right? Just do the books. Track your expenses, identify your spending. And so I'm going to challenge people who are listening to move to the 50,000-foot level, because we could track our spending all day long and we can identify our expenses, but really it's why do we spend what we spend?
Yes.
Right? I mean, I think if we don't get down to why we're doing it, so if you don't have a business plan, and I'm not saying it has to be that, you go to online, it's a 30-page document. It could be very simple. Who is my target market? What problem or need am I meeting? So that's my product and service. What's the pricing and what's the cost? And what's the culture I'm trying to create with my business? All of those pieces go into determining how much revenue you're going to make and how you're going to spend and invest your dollars when those dollars come through the door. And the reason why I'm so, I would say, almost fanatical about this is that we tend to walk through our life, whether we're an entrepreneur or an employee, pretty unconscious when it comes to our spending. And when things outside of our control happen, a recession happens, a job loss, health issues come up, we find ourselves sort of flat-footed and pushed back on our heels because we are not financially available, prepared to handle what circumstances throw our way. And so when we're talking about, the finances, I want to make sure that we're pretty clear. And I have sort of this mission, this heart for women to really step into a place of responsibility and accountability when it comes to their finances. And here's why. So in this country, there was a study done by American Express a year or so ago. And in this country, there are 8.6 million women-owned businesses. Those businesses generate $1.3 trillion in revenue, and they employ 7.8 million people. But here's the statistic I want you to, which is really great, right, because we're talking about, look at all this, this influence in the marketplace. Yet, of 89% of those 8.6 million women-owned businesses generate less than $100,000 in revenue per year. And then of that 89%, 59% generate less than $25,000 per year. So when I look at this, I think, okay, so in my case, I am a single woman with 2 children in my own business. I have a responsibility, not just to myself, but to them, to make sure that they have a life that is comfortable, that I have a responsibility to raise them in a way where they're not fearful about where their next meal is going to be, where they're going to live, all of that. And I have the benefit of having a college education, so I'm already ahead of, other women that may be in that situation, a single parent situation. But it comes down to, if I am going to leave a legacy for my children, then they need to see me not just sacrifice, but be intentional about how we spend money every week. It's about having that conversation of, with my son, when we went school shopping, I said, look, this is what I've budgeted for shoes for you. and this is what I've budgeted for clothes. So if you want to spend more money because you want to have whatever label that is, then you need to get a job and pay the difference. And so it's having those conversations. So when I'm in my business, I look at, am I serving the people I am meant to serve with the services that are going to help transform their financial life in such a way that they can continue to have the lifestyle that they truly desire, not the lifestyle that the marketers are telling us we should have, but the lifestyle that we truly want. And for women, we outlive men. And so it's not about our husbands or our partners making sure that they make enough money so we live well into our 90s. We have a responsibility as entrepreneurs to make sure that we ourselves are putting away for our longevity so that we can live well to the end of our life, and then making sure that if contribution and legacy is important to us, that it's not just about the habits that we incurred and that wisdom that we've imparted, but financially, are we putting money for our family into those causes and organizations that are going to further those things that are important to us? And those are decisions we make today for 2015 that will affect those decisions, how we live well to the end of our lives and how we will be remembered once we're gone.
Right, and as I'm listening to you, Audrey, and that, all of that is sometimes, I know for like probably the average woman business owner, or just, business owner in general, that can get a little scary when you think about, because that's legacy, building, and it's a different mindset than I know that most of us are accustomed to. And that's where that fear will creep in. So do you have, and I know that you do, can you just give us one tip or two, however many it takes, to really get us to think beyond that thought? Because I know that being the fearless master over these finances that you are, that you have something that you can share that will help us to think beyond that. Because I think as we're listening to you, obviously, we all know that what you're saying is absolutely correct, because we would not work as hard to, build a successful business and to work hard to get out of working, for a job or corporate America or whatever have you, so that we are successful business owners if we didn't believe in it and we didn't want to see it succeed. So
absolutely.
What's that push? What's that imaginary push that I need you to have on my back so that I'm no longer fearful? Even if I'm fearful, I'm going to do it anyway. So just share like one or two things that you would tell.
So I'm going to encourage you, right? And being encouraged is not just about being inspired. It's about being full of hope that you're going to be able to walk this journey with others, right? So the first thing is, one, you're not alone. And what you're experiencing, many other people have experienced. So seek somebody out who is ahead of you, even if they're 2 steps ahead of you, because what they're doing is they're turning around now and telling you where the pitfalls are and putting their hand out to raise you up with them, right? So know that you're not alone. The second I would say is, when you sit down and decide how you want to live your life, how you want to run your business, what culture you want to create, and the decisions that are going to go into that, because eventually you'll get to, here's how I need to fund this. But you have to make decisions about how you're going to lead your life and lead your business. Know that you need to give yourself much grace and compassion for what has gone on in the past, because what you have done in the past is what you knew to do with the information that you had. Because if we were to talk to our best girlfriends, we'd be giving them tons of grace. Oh, my gosh, it's really okay. Things are going to be different. So we need to give ourselves as much grace and compassion as we would our best girlfriend. And so when we look at, looking fear in the face, so to speak, or being fearless means that I've acknowledged that managing money, money, one, is a tool. It is a tool to get us the things that we need and desire to walk through this journey of running a business and leading a life that gives us fulfillment and leaves a legacy. But we also want to make sure that when we're talking about being fearless, it's about acknowledging that managing money and finances is a skill. And if you don't have that skill, then it makes fear can creep in because it's about the unknown. So
right, absolutely.
Ask somebody, and make sure when you're asking somebody that they have the same core values, same philosophical worldview as you, because sometimes we tend to talk to people who are in our same pit, and so we're just magnifying all the gaps as opposed to, I want to live differently, how do I do that? And if I need one skill, what would that be? You need to talk to somebody who's already employing that skill. Where did they get that education? Would they be willing to mentor you? Would they be willing to train you? Because it's a skill. So money's a tool, managing is a skill, and really, ultimately, if you're going to be fearless about this and be bold, because, being fearless is really about having faith in your ability for you to get things done and for you to connect with others that have the wisdom, those pearls of wisdom that you need so that you can string along that beautiful strand of pearls to wear that you can now give to someone else. Because, we get pearls to give pearls.
Right,
so that's exactly what we want to do. We don't want to focus on the fear. We want to, why is this rising up? Why am I being afraid? What don't I know? And where can I get the information? Or who can I talk to? Because sometimes we just crawl into our heads and make, the little dust bunny under the bed, this monster under the bed, and when somebody pulls up the bed skirt and goes, that's just a dust bunny, and puts light on it, all of a sudden things get into perspective. So I would encourage you to talk to somebody you trust, because really when it comes to finances, we can talk about sex, we can talk about religion, we can talk about politics freely and openly. We get to money and we all clamp up and
we hold those purse strings, yes, and we clutch them pearls. Well, I got to tell you, Audrey, you just gave us enough information that whether or not we wanted to, like we started off the show talking about how we really have to, kind of pull back the layers and really expose, even if it's just within your household, ladies. Audrey just shared a lot of pearls with us, so don't clutch your pearls and draw your purse strings tight. She really shared some pearls of wisdom on how we can really move forward if we want to truly be successful and sustainable in business. So we're going to take our second commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to have Audrey wrap up with us because this has been a awesome fiscally and now physically fit show on the Total Woman Wellness Show. So here we go, ladies. I let you off on the first commercial break because all you had to do was check and forecast your budget. But on the second half, I want you guys to do jumping jacks for 30 seconds. Why are you doing jumping jacks? Because you are happy that your finances are going to grow and that you're going to leave a legacy. That's right. So jump up and down about it. I want you to do jumping jacks for 30 seconds. And then when we come back, we'll also have our nutrition tip from Miss Tiffany Mansfield of Curvy Girl World.
Hi, this is Benita with Off the Vine. Join us on Fridays at 3 o'clock for Fun Talk About Wine. This season, I'm going to put this little sommelier certification to work as we expand the conversation to talk about beer and spirits too. Meet more exciting special guests, and you never know just who may show up at the studio. Off the Vine with Benita on the May We Help You Radio Network, giving you something to whine about.
To all of my female entrepreneurs, it's time to expand your region and business profits. Are you networking in the same locale and viewing the same guest list over and over? Do you find your colleagues are referring new business and its clients that you already have in your portfolio? Are you industry stagnant? And are your social groups and events filled with the same people? If you answer yes to just one of these questions, it's time to expand internationally. You are cordially invited to petition for attendance to an all-female exclusive and private event featuring the power of 52 women, the East Coast International Business Symposium, hosted by rockstar entrepreneur and international business consultant Erica A. Murray and multimedia distributor and expert Letitia M., and moderator Ms. Joan Henry of the Women's Entrepreneur Expo, beginning February 28, 2015 in Baltimore, Maryland. March 28th in New York, New York. April 18th in Washington, D.C. May the 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia. June the 20th in Boston, Massachusetts. And September, Africa. If you are serious about your business, don't miss this event. Go to www.thepowerof52women.com for more information. Once again, go to www.thepowerof52women.com and register today. This is an event you don't want to miss.
Hi, my name is Letitia M., owner of May We Help You Network. I want to thank you for joining us and enjoying our host here on MWHY Radio Network. Please visit us online at mwhyradio.com and like us on facebook.com/MWHY Radio. Tune in to learn more about our hosts and upcoming content and our TV programming that will be coming to you soon. MWHY Radio, bringing together business, community, and you.
Welcome back to the Total Woman Wellness Show. If you are just tuning in, you have missed such great things that were shared during the first half, but don't worry, the download will be available as soon as today's show concludes, because I want you to get all of the goodness that was shared by our special guest, Ms. Audrey Godwin of the Godwin Group. She was giving us the fiscally fit information that we need to make our businesses sustainable, so that the T word is working in our favor, that being taxes, allowing us to track our expenses, get our books up to date, and just live the lifestyle that we want to create for a healthier legacy. Don't you all love that? That all just sounds really good. So I know you all want to participate in that and want to have that, because otherwise, why would you do what you're doing and do it so well? Now, before I bring her back on to just leave us with the goodness that she's brought so far, like how could she give us more? But before I bring Audrey back on, I want to have our nutrition correspondent, Ms. Tiffany Mansfield, come on and share with us, because I already have you guys moving. We did our fiscally fit. We did our physically fit commercial break of jumping jacks, because we're so excited to be fiscally fit that Tiffany's going to share with us how to eat well. What are you doing to make sure that you are feeding your body what it needs to thrive and to grow and to do all the things that we demand of it each and every day? Hi there, Miss Tiffany. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of the totally well women out there. I heard a lot of the show this morning where we were talking about business owners, and I know a lot of us fall in that category. We're either already business owners who are working to grow our businesses, or a lot of us are even aspiring business owners who are trying to get an idea or plan off the ground. So with that, with that lifestyle, it takes so much extra effort to create balance. Yes. Creating balance, that's something that will continually have to renew. I personally don't believe that there is a way that we maintain a balance, because there are so many moving facets and variables in our lives that change, where it seems like I'm always trying to create a new way to find that sense of peace and manage all of my day-to-day tasks. I'm pretty sure you all are with me on that. So, but with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't really realize, especially when you're, truly doing different things, like Audrey and I both talked about, trying to transition from, a full-time job maybe into, working part-time into your business, you have to have balance. And so with that, give them, I know, the next half of what you're going to tell them.
Absolutely. And especially when we have situations where we're in a transitional period, we have to deal with other factors such as stress. So eating balanced meals complemented with iron-rich foods that boost our brain power help us to maintain balance against stress. It helps us reduce the anxieties that we have to fight throughout the work days. And with that, I want to give you ladies an idea to take with you. since most of our days are so busy, whether we're out on the go or whether we're at home working and, trying to find new ideas and planning, one of the things I like to do is create little snack packs. For every couple of days, I'll take some Ziploc baggies and maybe prepackage some cheese and whole grain crackers, or grab some packets of tuna or salmon and pre-wash and cut up some fruits and vegetables. Those little snack packs will help keep you away from the chips, outside of the dip, and it gives you everything you need to do. You don't have to stop and think about, what am I going to eat? You'll already have a grab-and-go approach, ladies.
I love it. And those are power foods for the ladies that are out there making power moves. While we're talking about so what's in your purse. So not only are we talking about the finances in your purse, but what kind of food do you have in your purse all the time? Whenever I see any of my ladies out on the street, if I see you anywhere, the first thing I'm, what do you have in your purse? What's in your purse? And no, I don't want to rob you. I want to know, what are you eating? I don't want you to have a Snickers bar in there. I don't want you to have anything artificially made in there. I want you to have power foods for women making power moves. So, Tiffany, tell the ladies how they can get in touch with you and find out more about you and the nutritional tips and information that you offer with Curvy Girl World.
Absolutely. My website is curvygirlworld.org. My social media, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, at Curvy Girl World, and Instagram. And ladies, stay tuned. I'm ready to embrace this new mantra, power foods for ladies who make power moves. I love that.
Thank you. And you know me,
Have
it
a
was
great
something
day.
that just came off the cuff. Wasn't that good?
That was good.
Tiffany, thank you. All right, well, ladies, we're going to keep it moving and bring back onto the show Miss Audrey Godwin, because she's going to take us out. She is going to tell us 1, 2, maybe even 3 action steps that business owners can take immediately that will affect their bottom line. You know, I like to leave you with takeaways. You know, we've been sharing information. Audrey's been giving you goodness. We've been having this discussion, you know, really sharing with you and being very transparent about what you need to do, dispelling your fears, your myths, and all of that. So Audrey is going to share 1, 2, 3, however many tips she may have in her power bag about how you can immediately take steps that will affect your bottom line. Miss Audrey?
All right. Well, the first thing that I want everybody to do is, if you haven't put together a business plan, yes, you need to do that. But let's just do it for 2015. Answer this question honestly. What do you see your business being, doing, who are they serving by December 31st, 2015? Because you need to know where you're going. Because if you don't have a destination, you're going to end up anywhere the wind blows you, wherever the circumstances take you. And I am a firm believer that being an entrepreneur means that you get to take control of your personal economy. Doesn't matter what's going on around you if you're clear about where you're supposed to be, who you're supposed to serve. So first and foremost, get a vision. Where do you want to see your business being at the end of 2015? And, you know, I've done this with clients before, and some will go, I just need to hire an administrative assistant. Okay, well, then you need to figure out how much revenue, how much cash flow do you need to have to make that happen, right? So you always have the vision first, the money comes later. The business plan, the marketing plan, the operational plan first, then we put the money piece to it. The second is, what are the values? What does your business stand for? Is it for freedom? Is it for, you know, customer service, or as Simon Bailey says, customer love? Is it for, you know, integrity and honesty? And so you need to whittle it down to what are your top 3 core values that are going to guide and direct every decision, because those are the lenses. That's the lens that you're going to make all of your business and financial decisions through. So you want to have your vision, you want to have your values, and then you want to make sure, if you're not clear about your brand, if you're not clear about your target market, then you need to invest in a marketing person who will help you define your target market, help you define and strategize what your products and services are. Get a sales system in place. I invested this year in a sales system. It's the one thing that I have not taken any education on all year long, and decided that I needed to have a real sales system and have a script, because I know what I love to do and I know the results that I can bring. I just need to articulate it clearly so people say yes, which means that increases my cash flow and increases my influence to help people transform their finances over a period of a year. So vision, values, get clear. I mean, I tell people invest in marketing. Get clear about who you serve, why it matters, and what you're going to offer them. And then after you do that, let's look at pricing. Let's look at cost. Let's look at investments. What is your compensation going to be for you as the owner? So vision, values, your clients, your products and services, and then your financial plan. That always comes last. People want to put that first, and so I want to encourage you that you want to be inspired by your vision, but know that your values and your discipline is going to get you to the destination, but you have to have a destination. Where do you want to be? What do you want to be celebrating? What do you want to say that you've accomplished December 31st, 2015? Those are my tips.
I love it. And, you tied it back in as well as gave the reason for each of them, because, sometimes when we don't know the reason or the value that it brings, well, what will we do? We'll just keep it moving and not do it, right? So I like the fact that not only did you give the tips, but you shared their importance. So I kind of summed it up by saying that you have to have vision, value, and visibility. So you may know what you want to do. Like you said, be clear on your target audience. Really have the visibility to be clear on who it is that you're serving and what it is that you want to do kind of going forward, so that you're speaking their language. So thanks again, Audrey. Of course, this show is only an hour long. Sometimes I stretch it out a little when I get really into it, but I know that there is more goodness that you have to share, and I want you to tell the listeners where they need to go to get that, because there's some things that you mentioned that you're working on and how you can work with women that are transitioning into this or just need help currently in business that want help moving forward to be able to make sure that they're succeeding.
The easiest place to find me right now is to go to Facebook, my Facebook page, which is the Godwin Group. And for everybody who likes and comments that they heard the show, I will offer them a 30-minute laser coaching session.
Ooh, 30-minute laser coaching session, lady. There you go. The Godwin Group on Facebook, the Godwin, the Godwin Group. Make sure you like the page and mention that you were listening to the show. And Audrey will extend a 30-minute laser session. I love it. Thank you so much again, Audrey, for being on the show. I'm sure midway through the year we'll have to have you back on the show to see how everyone's doing with implementing some of these things and just really moving forward in the things that you shared from the very beginning to the very end, the 3 tips that you gave about keeping your books up to date, tracking your expenses, and really knowing where your money is going, right down to how we can immediately begin to do certain things like your vision, value, and visibility. So thanks again. I truly appreciate you having you come on to the show. Next week, we're having Dr. Lori M. Hobson. She is president of Your Fan Club. She will be here next Wednesday on the Total Woman Wellness Show. So make sure you tune in. If you missed any portion of today's show, the download will be made available immediately following the show at the same link. So you can just re-listen to the first part of the show. Thanks again, and I will see you all here next week. Make it a healthy week.